The Future of Pakistan and the Taliban by me, Tristan Farmer. Um, After greatly studying the Taliban, I feel the future is increased strength and power than what we've already seen through numbers of soldiers, money, and greater influence through corruption. The Taliban is stronger than it's ever been and will continue to grow and carry out attacks as long as they are getting media attention. Um, and the Taliban will continue to receive help from Pakistan. This is because it's in Pakistan's best interest to continue to support the Taliban for many reasons, including the ability to respond to an Indian invasion, guarantee safe haven for Islamist proxies that Pakistan supports, and to prevent India from projecting power in Southeast Asia and obstruct India's ability to support separationists in Pakistan. Another thing that the future really holds is continued attempts to get control of nuclear weapons and other terrorist attacks. Just like we learned in this course, the threat of the Taliban getting its hands on nuclear weapons is a very serious and viable threat. The Taliban today, so that's the future growing. And the reason I feel like that is where the future is because what's happening now. In the last 3 weeks alone, there have been 2 major incidents which have ended in the Taliban's favor. Police Chief Abdul Razik was gunned down by his own bodyguard in an attack claimed by the Taliban. With Razik dead, all bets are off. With no natural successor, his death creates a dangerous power vacuum. He's very vocal and stood up to the Taliban, and now they might get someone who doesn't feel as strongly about fighting against the Taliban. And then the other attack was a prison jailbreak from the Sarposa prison in something that sounds like it came out of a gangster movie. It gives a boost to the Taliban at a time when the security assistance force is trying to break its morale. With the fighting season around the corner, the Taliban can potentially replace its leadership ranks. The psychological effects this will have on its audience will be even more important than the effects that it has on the Taliban's physical presence and strength. Control and growth. Military analysts say that insurgency currently controls or contests 61% of Afghanistan alone. In 2014, there was 20,000 members, and in 2018, there is 60,000 plus members. That's a 300% growth increase in 4 years. In 2014, U.S. officials told NBC News that the number of Taliban fighters was about 20,000. 4 years later, one U.S. defense official said that the current Taliban strength is at least 60,000. Another U.S. official said 60,000 passes the sniff test, while a third official said that 60,000 is a place to start. What this all means is that there's a lot more than 60,000 people. There's evidence to show that, there's research to show that, but at any one time we know there's at least 60,000, but the likelihood is there's a lot more than that. Growing tensions. Peace talks between the United States and the Taliban are failing. The Taliban has said that once the U.S. invaders leave, there will be peace. I personally don't believe that, because if the U.S. stopped fighting them, there would be nothing to stop them from doing whatever they want and harming even more people. Every time the Taliban's leader is killed, a new one steps up. So there's no sign of them slowing down. And also, the Taliban continues to receive funding by trading and smuggling illegal drugs. This funding provides them the money to buy more weapons and carry out more terrorist attacks. And while that continues, they're going to keep fighting and keep doing what they're doing. The impact this is having is getting worse and worse. It's increasing. The lives of people in these areas is getting worse, as well as the death tolls, and even political impact. There's a lot of frequent attacks. One man said, "When I leave my home, I am uncertain whether I'll come back alive." He was from a district that suffers weekly attacks. "Explosions, terror, and the Taliban are part of our daily life," he said. In areas defined as having an active and open Taliban presence, the militants conduct frequent attacks against government positions. Those range from large organized group strikes on military bases to sporadic single attacks and ambushes against military convoys and checkpoints. Economic decline. Economic decline comes from having to spend money fighting Taliban instead of investing it into the economy. And then the political insecurity. Political insecurity from the Taliban delayed the last election 3 months. That was my presentation, and these are my sources. I hope you learned something about the Taliban and the future.